The street. Okay, let's take a looky-loo. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this isn't it. There we go. Oh, we could watch it at enhanced 1080p, but we can't watch it any more than 1080p. There's not like a 4K version of this trailer. At least not the official GameSpot one. All right, let's take a look.
It is time. Time to wake up to a new reality. To a blank canvas that I have painted in with warmth and peace. In my new era, the choice is yours.
So that's the Great
Live
Kung
in
Lao.
quiet serenity or bloody strife.
And that's young Raiden.
To dwell in joyous
And
prosperity.
there's Katana. This must be Adenia.
Or bitter
Or
rivalry.
maybe it can't be Adenia, right? Because Melina's not Adenian. She's half Adenian, half
Face
Tarkatan.
each other as sworn enemies, or united as brothers.
I love that they don't have like full masks on. They just have the mask, but not the other stuff
Is
around it.
brewing. And soon you will discover that even in this new era,
Yeah, that's definitely Raiden because he has the amulet.
one constant remains. There is always something worth fighting for.
It's gonna get pretty graphic here. It's Mortal Kombat. What the fuck did you expect? Yeah. Shang Tsung, Kung Lao, Liu Kang. I don't know who that other guy that he just fought was. Was that Shang
You
Tsung?
have chosen to defy peace. Then you have chosen war with a god.
Shang Tsung looks so young. That's crazy. I love that it feels like it's far back in time, right? Because it has young Raiden, really young looking Shang Tsung, like crazy fucking young. The Great Kung Lao, who's the descendant of Kung Lao and Liu Kang from the current Mortal Kombat timeline, I'm sorry, the ancestor. They are descendants of the Great Kung Lao, and Melina and Katana, who reasonably could be that old, right? But Sub-Zero and Scorpion are also there, which confuses the shit out of me, right? Luckily, there was some like FAQ stuff here, but what we know that it's coming out September 19th. This was a trailer with no gameplay. Unfortunately, maybe that last piece was actually an in-game. Yeah, he's still up there, but you guys can't see him. Maybe the last piece was like an in-game fatality that they just like rendered up real nice in like a cutscene style, because that honestly looked like it could have been a fatality. That was pretty sick. If the rendering looks like that for the actual game, this game's gonna look really, really good, especially in comparison to previous NRS games. I think Mortal Kombat 9, 11, and X all hold up really well. 9, X, and 11 all hold up really well, especially in their generation. But this is like a big step because MK11 wasn't designed first and foremost for PS5. It was designed first and foremost for PS4. So this is a big change. I'm hoping to see some gameplay here soon. Also, there's an FAQ, so let's go ahead and look at that too. I guess we could look at the rest of this trailer before we do. Shang Tsung pre-order bonus. Yeah, look at him. He looks so young. He looks so young. Wow. He looks so young. Also, closed beta. We'll wait to read all this stuff later. Okay. Cool. We'll close that out. We'll move over to the frequently asked questions, which is All the things that I guess people were asking before the game came out. Actually, I think everyone was asking what's the next NRS release? When are we getting the next NRS game? Will it be Injustice or Mortal Kombat? Is it going to be called Mortal Kombat 12? Is it going to be shit like Mortal Kombat? I'm sorry, my bad. Intrusive thoughts. So, question: what type of game is Mortal Kombat 1? Answer: Mortal Kombat 1 is the latest title in the acclaimed Mortal Kombat video game franchise developed by the award-winning NetherRealm Studios. The game will introduce a reborn Mortal Kombat universe that has been created by Fire God Liu Kang, featuring reimagined versions of iconic characters like they've never been seen before, along with a new fighting system, new game modes, and bone-crushing finishing moves and more. Okay, cool. So I think the thing that really piques my interest here is new fighting system and various iconic and reimagined versions of various iconic characters. That means that they could take anyone from the entire span of the Mortal Kombat universe and put them into this game reimagined as they would like to see them in either the past, the present, the future, whatever, right? We know that this is a reshaped universe by Fire God Liu Kang, but we also saw Shang Tsung there. So who knows? Maybe the universe is emerging again. Maybe it's going to be past and present mixed together or something, right? So, who is developing Mortal Kombat 1? All versions of Mortal Kombat 1 are built on NRS Studios technology with oversight by NetherRealm. The NetherRealm team is developing the PS5 and Xbox Series S and X versions of the game. QLOC is developing the Steam, Epic Games versions of the game, and Shiver Entertainment and Saber Interactive are developing the Nintendo Switch versions of the game. I don't believe Collector is coming back. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back either. QLOC is the same people that developed the port for PC for Xbox. I'm sorry, for MKX. And a lot of people don't like that port. They think that port is like really shitty and very unoptimized. So that's kind of telling. It's a little bad. I don't know who developed the port for MK11, right? Because I heard MK11 was fine on PC. It wasn't like the best thing in the world, but it was like more than good enough. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. And I'm pretty happy with at least a team that has experience, and they're still being overlooked by NetherRealm Studios, right? I don't know if it's gonna be the best port, but I'll give it a shot. If there's good looking gameplay, if the gameplay looks good, I am on PC. I don't feel like buying a PS5, so we'll just have to give it a shot on PC. And then Shiver Entertainment and Saber Interactive are developing the Nintendo Switch version of the game. I don't know if they were the ones who did the MK11 port. I'm not sure, because I don't think the MK11 port was made in-house by NetherRealm Studios for MK11 on the Switch. So let's just go through some more of these before we talk about our overall thoughts. Who is publishing Mortal Kombat 1? Warner Brothers Games is publishing Mortal Kombat 1. When does Mortal Kombat 1 release? Mortal Kombat 1 is scheduled for worldwide release September 19, 2023. That's actually really, really close. That's very close. That's 4 months away. That's 4 months from tomorrow. So this game got announced today. Looks like Shiver did do the MK11 Switch port. Uh-oh. That's telling. The Nintendo Switch port was not a very good port of MK11. It was a little ugly and really, really unoptimized. Dropped from 60 a lot, according to people who use like the reverse engineering to find out how many frames per second it ran. It wasn't a consistent FPS, whether the target was 60 or 30. I think the target was 30 for the crushing blows and fatal blows, and it didn't hit 30 for a lot of them. And the smoothness of gameplay, even in regular gameplay, wasn't always 60 when it came to just regular gameplay, which is pretty unfortunate. Maybe they've learned a little bit more. Maybe they're working on a better engine. Maybe the engine has been more optimized now, right? Because it says NetherRealm Studio Technologies. So we can only hope that the Nintendo Switch version of the game will be better than the MK11 version was, right? Will Mortal Kombat 1 be available for early access? Players who purchase a premium edition of Mortal Kombat Premium Edition or Collector's Edition of Mortal Kombat 1 will have early access to the game beginning September 14th, so 5 days early. 5 days. What platforms will MK1 be available on? MK1 will be available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. PC through Steam and Epic Games is what it's showing here so far. Yeah. Which PC platforms will Mortal Kombat 1 be available on? It's looking like Steam and Epic Games Store. How much will it cost? $69.99, so a $70 game for all platforms. For all platforms of the Standard Edition. For the Premium Edition, it will be $110, and for the Collector's Edition, which is like a physical retail copy only for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, it will be $250. But it comes with a steel case, some like dragon coins or dragon crystals, whatever the fuck that is. You get like a Liu Kang sculpture, and then I think there's like a Liu Kang skin. Yeah, the Liu Kang skin based on said sculpture. Okay. Will there be other opportunities to play MK1 before release? Players who pre-order the game on PS5 or Xbox Series console will receive access to the MK1 beta, which will be available in August 2023. So if you have an Xbox Series console or PS5, you're gonna be able to play the beta in August. So we'll get to hear a lot more about what kind of characters will be in the game, how the game feels, what it plays like. Also, speaking of characters, which characters will be available in Mortal Kombat 1? See, this is the part that got me. This is the part that got me. I was real confused. So, reimagined fighters like they've never been seen before, including Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kung Lao, Katana, Melina, Shang Tsung, and Johnny Cage, and many more, and many others. So, Johnny Cage is actually part of the original Mortal Kombat 1 timeline. Melina, Katana, Shang Tsung, Kung Lao, and Raiden would have all been alive for the time of the Great Kung Lao. But Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Johnny Cage would not have been. So I'm a little confused about the story, but hey, we'll see where it goes when NetherRealm gives us more information about the story and the roster. What are cameo fighters and how do they work in Mortal Kombat 1? Let's see. So, cameo fighters are a unique roster of partner characters to assist during matches, creating an expanded gameplay possibilities for players. These characters are chosen separately from main roster of fighters. So, if they're assists, they're like assists like Marvel, X-Men vs. Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom 1, right? They're like assist style characters who aren't main roster characters with an assist attached to them. So, this means a lot of characters that people maybe want will only be cameo fighters. They won't be full roster fighters, but this allows them to squeeze more characters into the game, right? So if you like Sector and Cyrax, only one is in and the other one is a cameo fighter with their net or their assist like an Idol Showdown. Sure, I've never played Idol Showdown. If you'd like a certain character but they're missing, but they're cameo fighter, maybe you get one, not the other, right? So maybe you get Katana, but you don't get Jade, but Jade's a cameo fighter. Or maybe you get Cyrax, but not Sector, and Sector is a cameo fighter. Maybe you get Quan Chi, but not Shinnok, or Shinnok, but not Quan Chi, but the other one is a cameo fighter that comes in with their cool like assist that helps out the other character. It lets them squeeze in more characters because, of course, these characters are probably a lot harder to develop now than they were, 10, 15, 20 years ago when we had Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Armageddon was 2008? No, 2006, right? It was a long time ago. So Armageddon had like basically every character up until that point in Mortal Kombat's history, and it was apparently so hard for them to develop that they had to cut a lot of the features that were in the other two 3D era titles, right? Every character only had one fighting style, one weapon, instead of like two fighting styles and one weapon, because there was just so much content. It was like a really feature-rich, content-packed game. And this will hopefully allow some of those characters that you guys want to see get in as either a cameo fighter or a main roster character. It does kind of scare me because I'm afraid if someone gets in as a cameo fighter or if someone gets in as a main roster fighter, they won't be a cameo fighter or vice versa, right? So say you want Sub-Zero as a cameo fighter, too fucking bad he's main roster, bitch. Hold that. What type of modes will Mortal Kombat 1 have? NetherRealm's genre-defining story mode returns with a brand new cinematic narrative featuring unexpected twists on classic rivalries and original backstories for the wide-ranging cast of legendary fighters. More details for online and offline modes will be coming soon. So the only thing we know of right now is that it's going to have the same NRS style story mode where it's basically a big old movie where you just pilot the movie with characters for a little bit. I expected nothing less. I think the large scale, I think the large scale style of open world that Street Fighter 6 did was really cool, but NRS is already, I'm sorry, Mortal Kombat has already done that, right? They haven't done that to a giant degree like what World Tour mode is about to look like, but they've done it with MK Armageddon and MK Deception, right? And they also had Shaolin Monks, which was more of a platformer. But because they've already done that, I think that they like the style of story, of just like story driven narrative that they've introduced to the NRS era of fighting games. And I don't think they want to change that anytime soon. I would like a conquest mode again. It would be cool to see it. It would, but it would also be very odd for the way that they choose to do their storytelling, right? It's kind of hard to tell a really big, grand story that way, but have everything be big, open world, and immersive, and you can make decisions. It's kind of hard to. It's pretty hard to do that. Like there was no decision making really in Conquest. Like everything you did in Conquest still led up to the same thing, even though it was big and open world. And same thing with Conquest and Armageddon, right? Whether it was Deception or Armageddon, it all led to one path, no matter how big or open the world is. And I think they would rather have a more honed in story that like lets you understand and see the story of Mortal Kombat as it's meant to unfold. Does Armageddon really count? It wasn't open world. Yeah, it was more of a platformer, just like MK Armageddon. Yeah, I mean just like Shaolin Monks. Sorry. So Shaolin Monks and Armageddon were more of like a platformer, point A to point B level progression systems, and Mortal Kombat Deception was basically fully open world. There were certain things you had to unlock along the way to get to certain realms and get to certain places, but it was definitely open world. Even in Shaolin Monks, you could go back and revisit shit. Not fully, not fully. Like you couldn't go back and redo certain bosses. You couldn't go back into boss areas, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was definitely supposed to be a platform, like a point A to point B style game. Is an internet connection required to play Mortal Kombat 1? An internet connection is not required to play Mortal Kombat 1, although players will need to be connected to the internet to experience certain modes and features online. Duh, right? Uh, is a PlayStation Plus subscription or Xbox Live Gold membership or Nintendo Switch online membership required to play Mortal Kombat 1? I don't feel like reading all this. If you're trying to play offline, yeah, you're good. You don't fucking need it. If you're trying to play online, yes, duh, you need it. That's just how those platforms work. If you don't want to pay for fucking online, get a PC. That's just hold that. I don't know what to tell you. Will Mortal Kombat 1 have rollback netcode? Yes, I think actually in here they said something about crossplay too, but they took it out. They moved it out of this Q&A because I had looked earlier in the day because they're not sure if crossplay will be ready by launch and what reaches crossplay will have, right? If crossplay will work between Xbox One, PC, and PS5 and Switch, or if it'll just take out the Switch, or if it'll take out Switch and PC and it'll just be PS5, Xbox Series consoles. So because they're not sure, I think they just took it out of the Q&A because they don't want to get everyone's hopes up that it'll be ready by launch when it's not, because that is a pretty big feature. I think a lot of people really expect crossplay and rollback netcode in every fighting game. The sad state of affairs, yeah, they definitely needed to clarify that it's always online or not always online, which is good. But I think understanding that you're going to need PlayStation Plus or Nintendo Switch Online or Xbox Live Gold to play fighting games or most games online on console, it's just a given. I mean, it is a good question to ask, I guess, for those people who are very not in the know and don't understand how that works. Racist camera, Jesus. But I like where the Q&A took us. There's like one more thing we can look at, and then we'll wrap up our overall thoughts of what we know of the game so far. There's one more thing that we get to look at, and that last thing is it's just the official website, right? We got Mortal Kombat 1. Funny that they still use the Mortal Kombat 11 font. They just took out a 1. Kind of cool. Shang Tsung is a pre-order bonus, which is kind of weird because it looked like he's a pretty important story piece, right? Very strange. It looks like he's going to be a pretty important story piece because there's always something worth fighting for, and it looks like, or fighting against, and it looks like Shang Tsung's going to be that big bad for this game. But unfortunately, he's not base roster, or he's base roster but locked behind pre-order bonus ? Anyways, discover a reborn Mortal Kombat universe created by Fire God Liu Kang. Mortal Kombat 1 ushers in a new era of the iconic franchise with a new fighting system, game modes, and fatalities. You probably unlock Shang Tsung when you beat single player, sure, maybe. Immersive story campaign. Fight through a brand new story featuring your favorite Mortal Kombat characters like you've never seen them before. Watch the latest trailer. Cameo Fighters, we've already looked at that. And then, of course, you can pre-order it and you'll be able to unlock Sing Song. Wasn't Frost the same way in MK11? No. Frost, you unlocked her in the story mode. You bought her as DLC if you were too lazy to play story mode. That was it. Shao Kahn was the pre-order bonus, but Shao Kahn literally served basically no purpose in the story. He was a jobber. He was not important. He wasn't Chronica, right? This could be the Chronica of the game, and they're making him pre-order bonus, which is a little strange, but once again, it's cool. I'm gonna turn back on the Mortal Kombat tunes. I hope that's cool with you guys. So, I'm happy we're getting a new Mortal Kombat and that it's so close. I'm not happy that we saw zero gameplay for it this close to launch. I would have liked to see some gameplay. I'm a gameplay over graphics guy all day, every day, 100%. So seeing a cool, fancy trailer has me excited for the game, but it also has me worried and apprehensive, right? I wasn't super into Mortal Kombat 11, and they said it's a new fighting system. NRS has this thing where, like, basically every Mortal Kombat has to have, like, a new fighting system or new fighting systems on top of the old ones. So it's got the same basic game plan that older NRS games have had when it comes to Mortal Kombat, right? Like, down ones would probably be very strong, down threes would be good low pokes. There will be, like, a few characters with, like, actual grounded overheads, but most ways you're going to open people up will be off, like, jump into the plus frame or, like, strike through. That's going to be very common for, and, like, string-based offense. That's going to be very common for NRS games, for sure, right? But it's significantly changed from MK9 to MKX to MK11. MK11 put it in a place I did not like it at all. I don't like the breakaway system. I don't like the new meter. So I'm hoping maybe they'll bring back some of the older things. Could pre-order her or unlock her by playing the game. No, you couldn't pre-order unlock her. You couldn't pre-order unlock her. You had to unlock her by playing the story or buying her. The pre-order bonus was Shao Kahn. But I'm hoping that maybe they'll bring back some of those older systems that were a lot more refined in Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X. Even if the game is slower, I don't mind a slower paced game as long as there is more depth in that slower paced game. Because I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 lacked some of that. Like, they really wanted to, like, reel in your decision making to make it easier for everyone to understand and play. So I don't know how I'm gonna. I want to see gameplay. I want gameplay. I want substance, and I want to see that substance in motion as soon as possible. Maybe we'll see it in, like, Summer Games Fest or the PlayStation 5 live show that they're gonna be doing sometime recently. As long as we don't get the MK11 jab bullshit. You don't like being jailed by jabs after down one? I do. I actually like that. I was fine with that. I think that was the only thing in MK11 that I was cool with. Was if you hit someone with a down one most of the time, you can jail into your jab for pressure. Cool. I hit you with my down one. It's my turn. So why are you mashing when it's my turn? You know, I didn't mind that. That was not a problem for me at all. I think being able to jail offense is cool. Now, if that offense is extremely potent in, like, MK9 or MK11, I mean, MK9 or MKX, that would be fucked up. But with how the system worked in MK9, I mean, in MK11, it was fine. Because the offense wasn't so egregious, the offense wasn't so oppressive and overpowered that, like, being able to jail and do a jab really did anything. It wasn't, like, actually that strong, right? It looks like Ed Boon put out a tweet, so we'll take a look at that. What I'm confused about, this isn't really a complaint. I was talking to my wife about it, actually, in the car on the way home, and she said, you're complaining already and the game's not even out. And I just want to let everyone know, this isn't a complaint, just confusion. So, the game is coming out on Switch, right? And we're hoping that the game's going to be crossplay. They've hinted at crossplay and then, like, pulled it back. The install base could be huge if crossplay works between all platforms, right? The install base could be fucking massive, like a bigger scale than Street Fighter 6 for sure, if the crossplay works properly. I'm, like, almost positive this game is going to have the same numbers or bigger numbers than Street Fighter 6 because casually Mortal Kombat just has more appeal. But what I am worried about is, one, how the game will run on Nintendo Switch, right? How optimized it will be, and if crossplay will go to it. And why in the fucking world are we getting a Nintendo Switch version, which is weaker hardware than the PS4 and Xbox One, but we're not getting a PS4 and Xbox One version? I understand wanting to push people away from their consoles because those are significantly older, right? 2012, 2013, I believe. And the Nintendo Switch is like 2016, 2017. So it's newer, but that doesn't mean that it's stronger. So, right, it's still an older console with, like, older hardware, and it's still weaker than the PS4 and the Xbox One. So if they could afford to develop for the Nintendo Switch, they could absolutely afford to develop for the PS4 and Xbox One. It's not about it being current gen, it's about it being outdated hardware. And I think that it's outdated hardware, and if you're going to optimize for that outdated hardware, you may as well optimize for other outdated hardware that people are still on, that there's still an install base for. There is still an install base for PS4 and Xbox One, so there's no reason not to make a version of the game for it, right? Characters I want to see return, I'll just like rattle off my top 5 real quick. We'll do like a full video on it at some point, but my top 5 characters I want to see return: Cyrax, of course, duh. Jax, of course, duh. Sonya, she didn't get mentioned. Kind of weird that she didn't get mentioned, right? I would love to see, love to see Smoke. Smoke would be sick. And of course, missed him in MKX, which was really weird because he was actually a really cool newcomer to MK. I'm sorry, missed him in MK11 which is weird because he was a really cool newcomer in MKX. Takeda. I think Takeda, Smoke, Sonya, Jax, and Cyrax are the characters I want back the most. If I had to pick one more, I'd pick Kenshi too, right? Kenshi would be nice. Right, let's just get his son. Who cares? Wait, Takeda's his son, right? Yeah, I think Takeda's his son. Since we already have Sub-Zero and Kung Lao. Yeah, it's a little strange. A little weird, right? Those are the characters that I want back, like, immediately, full stop, no thought about it. But there's, of course, like, a bunch of cool characters from, like, the 3D era, like Bo Raicho, like Movado, like, the vampire lady that got killed in the movie. What was her name? Natara, right? Lime. Bunch of cool characters that could come back, and I'd be pretty hyped for them. But we'd have to see what the game's going to play like first. I'm really hoping for some gameplay here soon. Anyways, that is all of the Mortal Kombat news we have, and that's all of the thoughts I have about the Mortal Kombat news currently. So I'm hoping we get some gameplay here soon so I can come back with another video and analyze that gameplay, really get into if I'm going to be interested in Mortal Kombat 1 or not. Anyways, if you enjoyed this style of video, if you enjoy, of course, any of my content, hit the subscribe button down below. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get me to like 1,000 subscribers one day, hopefully, so that maybe, just maybe, we can start monetizing the YouTube content. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. Beanie Thuggish, signing out.